And so given the depth of the ocean, as you mentioned, those weather conditions, how difficult would the search operation be?
Well, it's always very difficult to find, particularly small submarines, if they are on the bottom, in amongst all of the other, what we call sonar clutter, that is, other reflective sources. It may be that there is some ability to communicate if a vessel was to get closer, but the first problem that rescuers will have will be to get the right equipment to the area, and there isn't a lot of time. This submarine will have a particular power limitation in terms of how long the power remains on. I understand it's something like 96 hours. There will be issues associated with oxygen, also issues related to the buildup of carbon dioxide. Anyone who's watched Apollo 13 will understand the difficulties when you have a small confined space and people breathing in and out. That indeed is, of course, if and I hope this is not the case, but if you've got something like a flood or something's gone wrong structurally with the submarine, then all of it will be over already.
So basically what you're saying is it could be a race against time, but when search authorities hopefully reach that area, those 5 people may not be alive.
Yeah, well, there's another difficulty here, and that is that unlike a military submarine, which will have a hatch for which a submersible can attach to and allow the transfer of a crew onto a rescue submarine, my understanding is this submarine does not have that capability, which means the only real choice is to bring it back to the surface. That in itself is an extremely difficult option. This submarine would have had a ballast that was connected to it that in an emergency could be released to make the submarine more buoyant. It's a little bit concerning that that hasn't happened. On the balance of probability, I think there's probably not the news is probably going to be bad, as sad as that is.
Yeah, look, it's such a sad situation. Take us through the vessel itself. How does something like this happen to this Titan submersible? What could have gone wrong with this sort of vessel?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, when a submarine dives, it's already at danger level 2. Anything can go wrong, anything small can go wrong, and it can be catastrophic. We train our submariners in the Navy all the time to deal with every sort of emergency, and the entire crew are always switched on. And in actual fact, there's more crew. On a larger submarine, you typically have more redundancy, so that if something does go wrong, you have backups, and that's unlikely to be the case on a submarine which is really designed for short-term operations for a few crew and passengers. There will no doubt be safety capabilities on board of the vessel that would have been there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to operate. But it's just not in the same game arrangement that you have with a military or naval submarine.
And how rare is something like this to happen to a submarine?
We've seen, in the last couple of years, we saw an Indonesian submarine that ended up sadly going to the bottom. We've seen the Kursk. There have been civilian submarines that have run into trouble. It's particularly difficult here because of the depth involved. Military submarines go nowhere near 4,000 metres in terms of their operating depth, and so just to have the right equipment to be able to get to the submarine is going to be very, very difficult.
Look, it's a really tough situation. Rex Patrick, we appreciate your insight. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.